God has given you the vision and you have the ability. You do not need somebody else to agree with you. You just walk in there.
Y'all heard that? God gave you the vision, baby. It's up to you to step into that. What up, y'all? Welcome back to the Woman's Hustle, Thrills and Spills of Entrepreneurship. It's your girl, Coach Kay. Y'all know I'm back with another dope session, right? Listen, I always love, I got to put these glasses down, y'all, because you know what? We about to get into some real deep conversation. I love when I have in-person guests because I really enjoy the vibe and the energy. But if you're listening audio-wise, make sure that you have subscribed to the podcast, all right? But I'm allowing my guest the honors of introducing herself. What's going on?
How you doing?
I'm good. Please let my lovely listeners know who you are, what you do, and all that great stuff.
My name is Lois Herd, and I consider myself a multi-preneur because I have multiple businesses in which I partner with my husband. So I am a loctician, and I've been a loctician for 21 years. I also have a used car dealership here in the Peoria, Illinois area. We are also real estate investors, so we have rental property as well, commercial and residential. And I am a travel agent just because I love travel. So I just started to, I actually used to work with a travel agent, and she pushed me into becoming one myself just because I would refer people to her, but I would already have researched everything.
What you said, so it was a no-brainer. I get it.
And then I just recently in July branched off of the travel and started doing Enchanting Moments, which is also under the Here Travel umbrella. And with that, we do luxury picnics. So if you just want to do a date night, a girls' night, a birthday party, could be kids or adults, proposals, different things like that. So just giving something different, you know. In Peoria, we really don't have a lot of things, and sometimes you just have to be unique and come up with different things.
Hey, let me tell y'all something. Did y'all hear all that? Did y'all hear all of that? Multi-preneur, I like that, first of all. I really like that title because it fits you. It fits like everything that you do. And I love so many things, just seeing you on social media and just seeing your work. You love what you do when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? And also the fact that you have the best partner in the world, which is Hollywood. You know, because a lot of us don't always have the honor of partnering up with our husbands. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to talk more about that because I feel like we're tired of seeing the glamorous side of entrepreneurship. Yes. Here's the thing, y'all. Yes, you can be successful. Yes, you can elevate. Yes, you can live your best life. But you have to be transparent in that. Yeah. Because a lot of times we are seeing so much glamorized and the best things of entrepreneurship. Y'all know why I created the Woman's Hustle. Thrills and spills. Right. Because I want us to talk about the good and the bad. Because when you're starting an entrepreneur journey, you have to know everything. You got to know that you may not be successful. You got to know that an idea that you have may not be the best idea. You got to know what it requires for you to make that business pivot. Yes. So a multipreneur is about to share all her insight in that. And we about to get into all of that. So like what I know, you know, with the locticians, because like even with your backstory, because you are a nurse actually by trade as well, right?
Yes. So I've done locks for 21 years, but not full time.
Okay.
So I've always done it on the side, and I've had my main job. Yeah. And so before I became a nurse, my main job, I was a certified medical assistant. So I worked doing that for 10 years.
Right.
But on the side, I still did it. So then I decided to go back to school and went to nursing school. And my husband, he had been trying to tell me, like, just go full time. And I'm like, no.
Right.
I don't have the clientele for that. And I know if I go to work, I'm going to get this check. Yeah. So I was okay with being an employee and a part-time entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So
what made you
the pandemic happened. So I graduated during the pandemic. That last semester of nursing school was at home, online, stressful. Everything was just crazy at that time. And so I finished, and I was scheduled to take my boards. But in the meantime, I went ahead and started applying and interviewing. I had actually accepted a job at Unity Point at the time.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to start there until December. So between May and December, I was like, I'm just going to do hair full time, until I start working.
Yeah.
And I switched that flipped that switch to full time, and God just catapulted my clientele.
Oh my God.
And in that moment is when I sat down and was like, okay, first I'm going to consult God, because I feel like that's the foundation. Absolutely everything. So I consulted God. I prayed about it. I did the math, because the math got a math, right?
Come on. Go on.
So I did the math. I broke it. I break everything down. So when I'm doing a head, I know how much it's costing me on shampoo. How much does it cost per pump of shampoo? How many am I using in the head? To break it down to see how much I'm actually profiting. Because just because you charge $100, you're not bringing 100 home.
Hey, please tell them again. Please tell them again. Like, you can charge all day, but you got to go look into the investments that you're putting into things. Like, I love that you were so
your
meticulous.
overhead.
Yes.
So all of those things. And then, of course, Uncle Sam, he has to get his money, right?
Come on.
So
Times first.
So you have to figure all of that with figuring pricing and really figuring how much am I profiting? How much am I actually bringing home? So when I did that, and then I compared it to the job position I had accepted, I made more money doing hair. And in my mind, this is where I'm at right now, and all I'm going to do is grow.
Yeah.
So, and the rate that I'm going to grow here, I'm not going to get those type of raises, or I'm going to have to work overtime to get that. So it just really made sense to go on full on entrepreneur. So that's what I decided to do.
I think that is so important. And I want y'all to take heed to what she said. She did the analytics beforehand, right? So many women, entrepreneurs, and I can categorize it as general, but because we're talking to us ladies, I'm talking to us, we won't even think about those things out the gate, because the only thing that we see is we have a product or service that we want to sell, and we're not thinking about the back end of things. But you really have to, because you have to see if it is feasible. Yes. If you want to do it as a hustle, and you say, hey, you know what, I'm not going to do this full time. I'm never going to do it full time. It's one thing. But if you are really saying, I really want to make something of this, I want to create a legacy behind this, I want to be able to get financially secure and stable with this, then those things that she just talked about are so necessary. And it requires a lot of work. Yeah. I think that even with the entrepreneur journey, it's glorified so much. People feel like that they can only do things 1 or 2 days a week. Yes. And then your business is going to be successful. Let me tell y'all something. As someone, because Upgraded Mindsets was created in the pandemic as well. Mm-hmm. And I was working full time and was like, I'm just going to coach part time. Wow. I was fired in November 2020. Wow. So I was at that job for almost 7 years. Wow. It totally took me off guard. Yes. But it was like walking in that, am I finna do this full time? Yes. Or am I going to find another job? Who's going to find another job in the pandemic when we all on lockdown? Exactly. So that was God's way of saying, hey.
Because sometimes he's already giving you the signs that it's that time.
And because we don't see it, because it ain't how we want to make sure you leave. Yes.
I'm going to let you make her move out of this job. And you ain't got no choice.
Yeah. But I think that really understanding that sometimes this is a 7-day-a-week mission.
Yes.
And we just talking about one business. Right. Let's not get into the 55 that you have going on. You know what I'm saying? You have so many things, so I can only imagine, the level of requirement. And I know, with hubby, but again, even with both of y'all, y'all manage multiple businesses. Yes. So I know that it's work, and it's a 7-day-a-week thing, 7 day a week, sometimes 10, 12 hours a day, and really, how do y'all make that work?
it's a cliche, no days off, but it's a real thing on the entrepreneur side. And you definitely have to learn balance. And I feel like even though you learn balance in this moment, things are going to get shook up and you got to recalibrate, right? And you got to learn balance again in this season or with this going on. And one is definitely always consulting God, praying, being very prayerful, because just as well as we're business partners, we're married and we're a couple, right? So you don't want the marriage to drown in the business relationship and vice versa. So you have to learn balance in both. You have to continually date each other. You have to respect that maybe I might be, I'm done today. Yeah. Like, I can't do no more business. I can't talk about nothing else. And you should be able to communicate that with your partner and be like, okay, we're done for today. We'll pick it up tomorrow. So I think it's learning to communicate. And like I say, learning the balance of business and still maintaining a healthy relationship.
And also with yourself too, right? Because I think that sometimes our stress levels as entrepreneurs are higher. Like, I categorize that, and it's like, hey, stress is stress. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I think that it's important for us to know that, yes, you're going to deal with some stressful times, right? Yeah. But how you handle those stressful moments.
I think it's going to be more stress than not. Yeah. You have more times that you're stressed out than you're not. And that's because you're continually growing. Like, if you're not stressed, you're complacent. Yeah. Right. So there's growth in being uncomfortable. There's growth in that stress. It's going to make you go back to the drawing board. It's going to make you figure out other ways versus just kind of going with the flow of how things are until it kind of crashes out.
Yeah. And I think because, in my studies, I realized that, and they said that like all stress isn't necessarily bad stress. Right. But I love how you roll that into getting her comfortable. Yeah. When you're wanting to pivot, when you're wanting to grow, it's important to understand that you got to do things that you never thought you would do. Mm-hmm. You've got to operate in that fear regardless. You know what I'm saying? And still be like, there are risks involved as well. Right. Because a lot of us aren't ready to take that risk. I have had so many conversations where people will come to me and be like, I want you to help me with my business. So when we have, the purpose planning session, because that's like one of the first things we do, I want to know why you feel like that this is the business for you. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? You got to really know that this is in you. Yes. And they don't know. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then you don't understand that there's risk involved. So when I tell you, oh, when you got to make this to that, I can't do that. I can't do that. Because now you're stopping yourself. You're holding yourself back. Right. I get financially that it's scary to take risks, especially when you don't necessarily have everything that you need on a financial level. But as entrepreneurs and in adapting that mindset, you got to be willing to take that risk regardless.
You do.
Whether you lose the money or not, because if you lose, you better say it. You better say it.
She don't make no money.
You got to be willing to invest. And if that investment doesn't go through, it's a lesson that you've learned. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You've got to still be willing to do that. I love taking risks. That's the mindset that I have, right? But it's not just blindly, because a lot of people will just blindly jump out because the marketing that somebody got going on is the bomb, right? Yes. We see on social media, hey, you got bomb marketing, people that got bomb marketing strategies and will sell you the dream, make you sell your house to work with them. You know what I'm saying? But you still have to apply the logic. There is so much logic involved in stepping into the entrepreneur journey or pivoting in the entrepreneur journey. Yes. Because I know that you guys, do cars and you do houses and stuff like that. Like, how do you feel that those businesses are, aligning with everything else when it comes to, the pivot process?
The car industry is much harder because it's all about marketing, right? It's all about being able to get in front of the customer, whether it be on social media or whatever, to drive them to your website or to drive them to come to your dealership, and trying to, we're trying to sell a car, but we're trying to sell you and experience, because we're not just selling a car. We want to make sure that car is, reliable for us. You know what I mean? So, I work in my own community, so I don't want to have a bad name. Our name is everything. So, the cars is probably our more difficult business. And we're actually in the middle of kind of revamping that.
Nice.
So that's the harder one. The real estate, I absolutely love. I just love real estate. I look at what's on the market every day. The real estate, it still can have its hard times. Knock on wood, we have been blessed that we haven't had any, terrible tenants or anything like that. But we do go through an extensive screening process. I don't, like even with that, like you get places where people get denied all the time because of credit.
Right.
I don't deny because of credit.
Mm-hmm.
I understand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've been there, so, and I know it's more difficult for, us brown people.
Yes,
It's a little bit more difficult. We don't learn about credit at a young age. So a lot of times we're learning those things late. So I don't hold a person accountable for credit. But there are other aspects that I look at. And sometimes it's just being transparent, right? And I'm young, I'm cultured, so I know when you lying. Or trying to pull wool up, trying to come on, quick one,
talk about
or finesse me.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna act green like I don't catch it.
Exactly.
But in my head, I'm not guaranteeing my property.
Yeah.
Well, all you had to do is be transparent. Like, look, this is what's going on. This is what has happened. This is what, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I may be willing to go ahead and just take a risk or give you a chance,
Yeah.
But the real estate I love, it's a little easier. Like I said, if you screen your tenants, and if you take care of your property. But the dealership is probably the hardest one. It is the hardest one.
But y'all hear how she talks about everything that she does, but everything she loves to do it, right? Even through the uncertainties, even through the risk, even through the, hey, I don't know, this is making me mad, even through the 7 days a week, even through the balance. She loves what she does.
Yeah.
And that is so important for you to understand that if this is something that you're wanting to do, you've got to love what you do. We want to make money. We do. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, that can't be what you lead with when you're in the startup process, because you're going to give up. You're going to be like, hey, it ain't worth it. I'm done.
Yes.
I'm cool. I don't want to do it. And that's fine.
Yes.
I work with us because I want us to establish the business mindset.
Right.
Because the mindset that you had, whether it was a struggle mindset, whether it was a toxic mindset, you cannot bring that in to whatever endeavors that you're wanting to start as an entrepreneur.
You're right.
It's just not feasible,
And I mean, you have people that say, I don't want to work for nobody no more.
Yeah.
But that's not true, because in entrepreneurship, I work for that client that's in my chair.
Come on.
I work for that customer that I'm putting in a car. I work for that tenant that is in my house, because without them, I don't have a business.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yes, I'm in it to make money and to be able to live a lifestyle as well. But at the same time, I'm in it to build a relationship. I'm in it to give a person an opportunity to get a car that where somebody everywhere else said no, I'm willing to give you that opportunity to get a vehicle, because I understand you're not going to get to another level if you can't get to work, or it's more than just the hairstyle. It's building a relationship with your customer.
But also giving them a sense of confidence.
Yes,
too, you know what I'm saying? Like that whole overall, like, 'cause I know when I get my hair freshly done, hey, you can't tell me nothing.
Yes.
I'm walking out like, just because it's a sense of confidence, you know what I'm saying? And just really establishing that, but you're giving that to other individuals. You know what I'm saying?
It's about pouring into
it is. It really is about that. And at any level of the entrepreneur journey, whether you are product-based, whether you are service-based, you have to be wanting to pour into others.
Yes.
That has to be in you.
Yes.
And you got to learn it. You know what I'm saying? If it's something that you want to do, then you got to say, you know what? I've got to be ready and willing to go a year or two without maybe even making any profit, because this is what I want to do for the long term.
Right.
I created upgraded mindsets with the mission of, I'm just going to coach part-time, but I have evolved it into a full scale personal development, entrepreneurial development, education, like bringing all of those resources because this is what's in me.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? Just really, and bringing awareness of the rawness of entrepreneurship.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? The ups and the downs, like
Just-
the lack of support, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Community wise and stuff like
Absolutely.
that, because we do, I am a firm believer in aligning with who is aligned with me. You know what I'm saying? And I know that if I hadn't did that and had that mindset out the gate, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Right.
Because I had the mindset of, I love my community, but I'm not going to depend on my community to help me pivot.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I'll pour in, but I've got to have another area where I get poured back.
Yes.
You know what
because
I'm
that's
saying?
putting all your eggs in one basket.
Absolutely.
And you can't do that.
You can't. You got to be open and willing. Listen, if you want to sell to your family or friends and leave it at that, then just leave it at that.
Right.
But if you're wanting to scale and pivot and do what you got to do to create legacy for yourself, then you got to be willing to step outside the box. And that involves dealing with people that you don't know.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. So please share with them a thrill that has helped you, you know, along the journey, that has just, you know, kept you purposeful and things like that within the entrepreneur journey.
I would say the thrill, I speak on God a lot because he's just the foundation of everything. For me and my husband, everything is spiritual first to me before natural. So definitely God being the thrill, but also just how he kind of orchestrates everything. Sometimes when you sit down and you look at things, I would have never been an entrepreneur. Never. Like, that was never my goal. I never even thought that way. But my husband, on the other hand, that's what he was when I met him. You know, he was an entrepreneur and he had that entrepreneur mindset. So God placed us together for a reason and we balance each other. So it's like when I'm over here frustrated about the businesses or whatever's going on, he's the opposite. We're always the opposite. If he's frustrated, I'm the opposite, you know? So it balances us out. So the thrill to me is having a partner that isn't giving 50-50, but you're both giving 100, you know, and you're balancing each other out and keeping God as the foundation. That is the ultimate thrill. Of course, there's a spill, right?
So listen, I was going to ask.
The spill is realizing that just like with anything, with you're trying to grow as a person or trying to enhance your walk with God, that it ain't going to be just easy, right? You know, with business, you're going to have more valleys than mountaintops. And that's just how it goes. So the spill is just enjoy that mountaintop. Enjoy when you have that thrill. Enjoy when you get that sale. Enjoy when your social media following is up or whatever your area is. But also be ready for that spill, which is that valley. You know, be ready for when those sales drop. Or, you know, we were never prepared for a pandemic. Nobody even ever thought about that. You know, so everybody had to relearn things. And, you know, some businesses didn't make it past that. Some businesses are still struggling, trying to get out of that. So just being prepared for those highs and lows and understanding that you're probably going to have more lows than highs. But in that, like I said, being uncomfortable in those lows, it challenges you. It makes you grow. It makes you reevaluate and not be complacent. And I mean, entrepreneurship is an amazing, amazing thing, but it is so hard.
Yes.
It is so hard.
It is not for the weak, y'all.
Yes.
It's not. And, you know, I say this so much about social media because I want you guys to do your own research. I don't want you to look at an Instagram post and assume that you can do things the exact same way, because I'm telling you, they've probably hired a marketer. They've hired some copywritten stuff to be done for them. You know what I'm saying? As someone who outsources certain things within their business, I'm telling you the real and the raw. there are things that I still do within my business, but because I know how many things that I have to balance, I outsource things, y'all.
Right.
So be mindful when you're looking at that 3-minute video of somebody, you don't know who did that for them and how long it took for them to give you that 3 minutes.
Exactly.
It could take 6 hours to give you that powerful 3 minutes that you see. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want us to really understand the rawness of entrepreneurship and really figure out if it's for you. This is not an episode of discouragement. This is raw and uncut. Y'all know me. You know what I'm saying? If you listen to this episode, you listen to others and you know that I'm going to give us the thrills and the spills, because entrepreneurship is a roller coaster ride. And I don't want y'all watching people and making it seem like that they just doing it big, because they could be capping. They could be, but they could be capping too. So it's up to you to do the research for you. Discover what you want to do. If you want to sell t-shirts, what kind of t-shirts? What impact are your t-shirts going to make? What's going to make your product stand out from the millions of other t-shirts that are out here in the game? You know what I'm saying? So like, those are the things you have to think about. And as Lois said at the beginning of the episode, she looked at her numbers. Like, okay, I got to decide if this is going to benefit me. Do I need to take this job, or do the numbers work out? You got to do that out the gate. Okay. It go beyond you getting the LLC and the EIN. You gotta, it go beyond that. What's the benefit? What are you doing it for? What's your business plan? Like, what are the resources? There are a lot of free resources out here, but I'm going to be honest, y'all, I'm not one of them. Okay. This free is the podcast. You know what I'm saying? But I say that because I want us to be ready to invest in the growth of our business. Absolutely. And whatever that looks like for you, I'm here to help us with the entire ecosystem, help you get the mindset to be an entrepreneur, because understanding those obstacles are going to come. Those days of I ain't made no money are going to be there, but you can't just run away from that, because this is your purpose. This is what you do. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So before we get out of here, please share with them like any words of motivation, encouragement, and any like time management, or anything that you want to share with the listeners, just to kind of, help them, stay aligned with what they want to do.
I would say there's nothing wrong with being an employee, for sure, because as a business owner, you need what? Employees.
Come on.
But there's great joy in being an entrepreneur as well. I say always consult God first, pray about it. It may be something or vision that he's given you to do, but it may not be the time to do it. He may still have you in the classroom. So instead of complaining about that job that you're on, take advantage of that and look at the different things that that job is doing. Look at their policies. Look at how they're handling employees. Maybe how your boss is, you may not, you can't stand your boss. Mm-hmm. So take that as a mental note to make sure that when you become an entrepreneur, you're not that same boss. So taking advantage of your current situation and making the best of it, but also preparing for that entrepreneurial move and being prepared for everything that comes with it, and just knowing that it's not all prosperity. You can prosper from it, but it's not going to be all prosperity, and just being ready for those down times. And with your vision, you don't need anybody else to confirm that it's a good idea. If God has given you the vision and you have the ability, you do not need somebody else to agree with it. You can just walk in.
Y'all heard that? Y'all heard that? If God gave you the vision, baby, it's up to you to step into that. It's up to you to walk that journey. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think there was some powerful words, and we're going to end with those right there. All right. Please let them know where we can find everything about Lois and our multi-entrepreneur journeys. Please let them know where we can find you.
All right. So for locks, you can find me at locksbylois.com. I also I didn't bring it today, but I do sell a hair oil. Even though I'm a loctician, it is for all hair. So braids, loose hair, locks, whatever. I do have a moisture infused oil that you can find on locksbylois.com. You can also book an appointment on that website as well. If you are looking for a vehicle, you can go to qualityautosource.com, or you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram. But qualityautosource.com, we do offer financing, and we work with all credit profiles. Okay, so you got a job, you got a down payment, we can
Let's
work
talk.
with you.
Let's talk.
And for the properties, if you're looking for a rental space, we do have a Facebook page. It's called DWIT, which stands for Doing What It Takes, Property Management. So if you head on over there, we usually post whatever properties we do have available. And yes, we do take assistance. If you have it from Salvation Army, if you have Section 8, we do not discriminate.
Hey,
So definitely check that out. And last but not least, Herd Travel. If you're looking to take a trip, definitely go over to herdtravel.com, put in a quote, and then we will get back with you on a quote of where you're wanting to go. And if you book it far enough in advance, you can make payments. So,
hey, you heard that. Listen, y'all, all of those links will be provided in the description notes. So to make sure that you guys have easy access to all of that, here in the Peoria area, but also beyond, if you are looking for something and you are not in the Peoria area, please go ahead. Make sure y'all follow the Facebook pages. Make sure you support and, just continue to uplift and empower our fellow women entrepreneurs, because that's what it's about: supporting us, uplifting us, empowering us, and making us be the best versions of ourselves.
absolutely.
Because us having that support is going to have us keep going.
Yes.
Absolutely. Sis, I want to thank you so much for
Thank
sharing
you.
so much valuable insight and
Thank you.
gems.
I appreciate
And
the opportunity.
Yes, I really do. This is what it's about, y'all. Really understanding that, having the mindset can put you in position to elevate in so many levels. All right. I'm telling you, multi-preneur, I love that word. Y'all probably gonna start hearing me saying that. I'm telling them now. Like, hey, you gonna start hearing me saying that. But I appreciate y'all so much for taking the time out. Please share this with your community. Share this with your network. If you are interested in being a guest on The Woman's Hustle, Fearless Fields of Entrepreneurship, do not hesitate to click the link in the podcast description notes and schedule an inquiry chat so we can learn more about each other. And I can extend that invitation. All right. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Stay dope, stay empowered, stay purposeful, and I'll holler back, baby.